What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, Division Rivals? This is Stephen Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. All right, guys, today's topic, we're going to talk about Alabama wide receiver Devonta Smith. I'm not going to waste y'all's time on this one, guys. I know that a lot of us have a ton of information on Devonta Smith already. This is one of the most popular wide receivers in the 2021 draft class. So I'm going to try to give you guys a little more in-depth, kind of analysis and breakdown here, guys. We're not gonna waste time on stuff I know you know. To begin with, the first thing I'm going to talk about Devonta Smith is the fact that the one note I wrote down here, guys, is mofo open. Say what? You leave the middle of the field open with Devonta Smith, this young man will kill you. He will kill you on those in between 5 yards and 15 yards, middle of the field kind of routes. He makes his living there. He's great on the contested catch there. He's got his highest numbers in the intermediate middle of the field in terms of contested catches, where he was over 60% on that.
Mac Jones faked it to Najee Harris, lost one down the middle.
In terms of contested catch throws, there were 8 made across that intermediate middle. That was the most of any of the routes that he ran, or the areas that he ran, with 5 catches, which worked out to be about 62.5%. The only other position on the field that worked out anything similar to that was the deep left, where he had 4 targets or 4 throws, 4 opportunities, if you will, and 3 completions for a 75% rate.
19 last time that didn't happen. That was calendar year 19, over the top, down the side.
So deep left, intermediate middle, Devonta Smith was just next level with that stuff, guys. As a matter of fact, he was just next level overall across the middle of the field. Look what he's rated, guys, in the deep middle here. Deep middle, 99.3. Intermediate middle, 97.4. Short middle, think slant routes, anything kind of in-breaking routes, drag routes, anything that's, kind of right there and across the middle of the field, 97.
Fake to Najee Harris, and the quick strike to Devonta Smith, and he is...
And then behind the line of scrimmage, 94.6 in the middle. He was really good at working the middle of the field, guys, and he did it from a multiple of ways. I've seen him do it from the slot. I saw him do it from the outside. He worked the middle in multiple ways and multiple angles. The other area I saw that he was utilized quite frequently, guys, was on the left side of the field, where he had a 99.9 rating on the deep left, 3 contested catches there, and he had a 94.9 rating in the intermediate left. Even the short left, it was an 88.9. The area where you could see he didn't get a whole lot of attempts, he didn't get a whole lot of reps, was actually on the right-hand side of the field, above the line of scrimmage. Anything 1 yard or above, he only had 10 total attempts on the season for 2020. So it's kind of how his route patterns laid out, guys. He was really special actually behind the line of scrimmage, and I'm going to get into that point next. All right, moving on, talking a little bit more about him, guys. The one thing I want to bring up here that I noticed about him is he was kind of sneaky on this. He had the most yak in terms of total yardage in the entire country. He nearly had 1,000 yards of yak, yards after the catch, guys. 953 to be precise.
Irish showing blitz. They brought pressure. Jones threw away from it to Devonta.
Now, what I do want to make notice here, guys, is that while his total number was really high at 953, when you broke it down by yak per reception, he's still very good. But there are guys ahead of him. Like Dwayne Eskridge, in terms of yak per reception, was the highest out of the entire country, guys. He was like 14 yards of yak per reception, guys. I mean, he was something ridiculous like that. Dez Fitzpatrick finished ahead of him. Justin Hall from Ball State finished ahead of him. He's a small, school guy. And Anthony Schwartz from Auburn. Those guys were a little bit more well-regarded there if you looked at it in terms of each reception and where it placed, but nonetheless, he was very good at the yak, which kind of brings it into the short game, the things behind the line of scrimmage. He was a lot better than I thought, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. When you run the film, and I took a look at Georgia, Kentucky, and Notre Dame to really get a feel for his 2020 film, when you ran the film, he was very, very good behind the line of scrimmage with these passes.
Quick throw. Here is Devonta Smith. Goodbye. Farewell.
it happened a lot more than I thought. I wasn't expecting him to have so many kind of like what they call a quick route kind of passing option. That's where you're just taking a step back off the line of scrimmage, waiting, putting your hands up, catching the football.
Quick throw out in the flat. Devonta Smith got the edge.
Ball and making something happen. When you looked at those quick routes, there was a lot of them, guys. Not something like when you look at the frame, 6'1", 175 pounds. It's not what you really think. You're not thinking like, oh, like the quick game, like that quick route, like he can get these yards after the catch. Like, he's not particularly fast. He's fast, but he's not a burner. He's not like yesterday's video. I mean, we're not talking about a certain type of speed element here, right? We're not talking about a guy like Elijah Moore, who's got crazy top end speed. But he's fast. But I think what makes it up for his yak, it's not that he's running people over, right? He's not Fohoku, whatever his name is, from Stanford. It's his vision. He's got really good vision. He can see the lanes. He can see the field really well, and he just does a good job of contorting his body to make it through these little tricky kind of little windows, little lanes to get himself through, and does a really good job of that, guys. And it showed up in his film.
That wasn't a wheel route, a little crossing route.
They fake it to Harris. They send it out to Devonte Smith.
The last part of his game that I want to talk about is his ability to work his way back to the football.
He's back to the ball as good as anyone you've ever seen. He senses where to go, and watch him come back.
This is something that I don't really know how you can measure it. It's not really something that can particularly be measured. But of all the guys I've run film on, he's clearly the best at doing it. And it comes in a variety of ways. Sometimes it's a scramble drill, right? It's the quarterback kind of pointing out, directing you where he wants you, then you coming back and making a play on the football.
Deep drop. Directs traffic and then throws a strike. Complete to the...
Then at other times, it's more of a design thing, right? It's coming back on curls and hitches. It's working the end zone to a comeback route, so that way you can get that desired separation that you need from the player in front of you to make a easy target for your quarterback.
Design roll to the right on 1st and goal, and he throws to the pylon.
These are things that are really difficult to measure. I don't know exactly how you measure it as a football, like as a scout per se on a football player, but it's something that stood out to me very vividly about his film. Like, I noticed it right from the jump. Like, wow, this kid is fantastic at coming back to the football.
Into the end zone, and he's expecting the football right at the front pylon, both feet in.
And he did it against, like I showed you earlier, Tyson Campbell. He did it against Eric Stokes, too, and he drew a flag in the process of doing it.
Eric Stokes at the top of the stem, and he grabs his shoulder pad. And then
He's a tough guy to cover, guys. I mean, his route running is really what sets him apart from the other prospects that I've broken down. And I do remember some people were telling me last year, like, hey, Gate, I know that you really only watch the film breakdown on the guys you're watching, but there's a guy at Alabama called Devonta Smith who's coming up who might potentially be a better route runner than Jerry Jeudy. I think it's argumentative. I think they're both very good route runners, but I do think that Devonta Smith has better hands than Jerry Jeudy does. So, I mean, this is a really interesting prospect to break down film on.
Your screen is a wide receiver. Jones, a quick slant, complete. Devonta Smith.
Let me know your thoughts about Devonta Smith. Very polarizing figure. I'm interested to hear what a lot of you guys have to say. Number 2, if you want to support the channel, you can buy me a cup of coffee. Link is in the description below. And last but not least, the sales pitch of all sales pitches, guys. Please hit that like button. Please leave a comment, guys. It's what spikes the algorithm. It's what gets this in front of other people. And if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would love to add you as a subscriber, but I need you to hit that subscription button first. All right, y'all. I will see you on the next video.